I don't have some magic spiritual gift that you guys don't all have. That's not the case. The truth is, you guys can all do what I do. I'm literally just a normal guy who does construction work. I'm not some guru spiritual guy who like meditates every night and has to do years and years of like kumbaya to make sure that I can get these messages from spirit.
Because there's something about passing out jewelry.
Yeah, I know exactly what that is. Yeah.
Does that mean that the closer I get to the event, that the fear's not there? Hell no.
Spot on. Like, he's the real deal.
Because I have to have enough ego to get up here in front of all of you. I have to have enough ego to want to do this kind of work.
But all those things came through and he was just like, boom, 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 you know.
But the minute I let my ego go too far and it gets too big and I start taking credit for this work, then spirit takes this away from me. All of a sudden the messages aren't accurate. All of a sudden I can't do this work. All of a sudden I'm not good enough. I have to keep my ego the right size. I have to keep it middle size. I call it medium-sized ego. Everybody, welcome to this. Where are we at?
Santa Clara.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Santa Clara. Okay, so another thing, I don't really like applause until the end, okay? Because, again, that's an ego thing, right? Like, you guys start applauding everything I do, like, I'll just be like, it's really hard to keep this thing. Like, you see my poster out there, my head's really big. That's like a joke about my ego, right? That's my ego size. So, like, I need to keep this thing deflated. And when you guys cheer every time, it kind of makes it hard for me. So, again, I don't need applause every time. I just need to be open-minded, okay? All right, I'm gonna go right into another one. I'm gonna be right over here with the lady in the white shirt right there.
Which one, sitting?
Yep.
Sorry.
Can I come to you?
Yes, please.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes, it's important that I ask.
I'm going to be in that camera.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's important that I ask if I can come to you because you have to be open to it, right? Like I can't just go around and randomly read people who don't want it. Like that's not how it works. And here's why. I'm not actually reading you. I'm not feeling you. I'm not getting anything from you. I have a guide who's in control of everything I get. I call him the gatekeeper guide, okay? My gatekeeper guide is giving me all the information that I'm sharing with you. I'm not, even though I'm an empath and I can feel you, okay? I do use that to help if I'm in the right place. I am reading your body language. I am telling if it's working or not to make sure I'm getting the right information. But I'm getting all my information from my guide and my guide's getting it from your guides, okay? So we're not actually exchanging, anything. So that's the truth. Okay, and as long as I'm doing that, then it's accurate. It's accurate.
That's great.
But when I'm not doing that, when I'm pulling it from here or here or here, okay, then it's not accurate. So the job I have is to actually continue to have this connection with my guide and make sure that I'm connected to the guide, which is really hard to do in a room full of people, but practice, 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 okay? And I don't know why you needed to hear that, but you needed to hear that, okay? All right. So male energy that just came in, right on your side, very, very close. Lots of love, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of love. You miss him very, very much. He's like, of course I'm going to come in. Of course I'm going to be the first one to talk to you. Of course. He gave you a peck on the cheek, a peck on the cheek. So I still don't know at this point if this is a relationship or a father figure. I don't know. I thought I heard daddy earlier, but I'm not sure. So again, I'm not going to try to guess yet. In the past, I would do that. I would go out there and say, is this? But now I know to just keep talking about the information they give me, and then that information will come through. So don't tell me yet, but just know I'm not sure which relationship this is yet. So at this point, I'm still not sure. And if I try to guess, that's me. Okay, that's me. But Spirit has told me just keep going, keep getting what we're wanting. You're trying to get answers so that you look good in front of all these people. I'm trying to say, that's your dad. And then she goes, it is. And you guys all go, ah, right? That's the ego. But that's not what I'm supposed to do. Okay. So then my job is to go back, ask Spirit. Okay, give me something more so I know who this is. Okay, that's weird. So I just saw what looked like a bracelet. And when I saw the bracelet, it looked like one of those medical bracelets. So again, I don't have a symbol for that, but I feel like this is a symbol for something. I feel like, again, what are those metal bracelets? What are those for? So we want to talk about a medical condition. So I want to say that whoever this is had some kind of medical condition that they're bringing up. Does that make sense to you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. It's got to be in a roundabout way because it doesn't feel super strong. Like I'm not
Yeah.
getting chills going, you got it right. So it's got to be, I've got to be off a little bit. So, but I keep seeing that, you know, the bracelet that's got like a little symbol on it to let someone know there's something going on. Does that fit somewhere else in your life?
It could. There were issues, but no bracelets that I saw.
That's okay. I don't think there's an actual bracelet. I
Yeah.
think they're trying to show me that there was some kind of medical condition that needed to be known about, or there was some kind of medical condition. So again, let me keep going and see where it comes in. Again, everybody's staring at me. I can be wrong. If you have to be willing to be wrong to do this work, because this stuff is crazy. Okay, the stuff that comes in my head, it all sounds insane to me, and I've got to say it out loud to you. And of course, it's not going to always be right. It's not 100% accurate. That's what people don't understand. People think this is either got to be completely, it's either fake or it's 100% accurate. And I'm trying to show all of you that there's a middle of the road. That's the truth. And when you see someone who you thought was real 100% of the time not be real, then you all of a sudden think that they're fake. And that's not the case. It's the case. The truth is that you're not always accurate. Right? I'm not always accurate. I would never claim to always be accurate because that would be my ego. Okay? All right. So do you have a father figure that's passed and a male to the side? Okay.
Yes.
Because now I just realized as I went to say daddy that there was two, and that's why I couldn't tell the difference. So now I know that you have both. But I do feel like you had a male to the side who came in and gave you a kiss on the cheek. So do you have a husband who's passed or a relationship?
Son.
Son? Okay. So this could be son because it was a peck. Again, when it's a relationship, they usually hold the kiss a little longer, but, well, just know he stands to the side of you, so that's also a symbol to me that he was your friend, okay? So you guys were friends. Oh God, is this? I don't like his way he's passed, so I get this weird, like, I don't like the way I passed feeling from him. And I feel like there's a trend going on. I've had like 50 of this style passings lately. There's like this epidemic going on. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Like some type of accidental
Drugs. Yeah.
drug overdose? Okay. I've had like 10 of them in the last 2 weeks. It's been crazy. It's insane. It chills all over. So that's how I knew this was, because he's like, yeah, it's another one of those. Okay. So he does take responsibility for his own passing. So he does take responsibility for it. So that doesn't mean he did it on purpose. That means that he is saying that this is my fault. Okay. So he also shows me this symbol, which this symbol means drugs and alcohol. It means addiction. So again, we've already established that this is an OD, so you can assume that. But when they show it to me after I've already come to that conclusion, that means there was also mental illness also. There was some kind of mental illness, because this is the same symbol. When they showed it to me at first, it's drugs and alcohol. When they showed it to me a second time, it means there was mental illness, okay? And I also get this feeling of up and down with him, up and down with him. And oh my God, did you battle? Or did we battle for him? And now I heard battle for him. We battled for him. And you feel like you lost. You feel like you lost. And he says, Mommy, you didn't lose. And he called you Mommy. Again, I didn't mean to say Mommy. I meant to say Mom. He said Mommy, which makes him feel much younger to you and feel much more loving. He wants you to see him at a much younger age. Did he leave kids behind?
No.
Then he has to have a brother or something that's left behind, or a sibling.
There's a sister.
Okay. Because again, when I went to him being younger, I saw like young kids. So I saw two. So again, I don't know why we went that way, but that's where he went right away. Sister has no drugs or alcohol?
No, she does.
She does? Okay, because he went to that next. He's like, talk about sister. So I wasn't sure if he was saying to worry about her or what, but like I guessed that wrong. I'm like, he must be saying she doesn't have this, which I don't know why I went that way. I just did, but it was wrong because he showed me the symbol and said talk about sister, but I didn't feel worry. So here's where I went wrong. Now I know. He didn't feel worried about it. So she has the issue, but he's not worried about her.
Oh, good.
Do you understand? So see, now I get it. He's saying you don't have to worry about her. So I got her, Mom. I got her, Mom. So chills all over. So now I know I got that right. See, sometimes getting it wrong, you feeling that way back there? Sometimes getting it wrong, so here's the thing. If I was to get that wrong and I tried to make it right, which is what happens if you're not willing to be wrong. If I'm not really willing to say, okay, maybe I'm wrong, then what I do is I force it to be right. And you guys, I'm sure, have all seen this, okay? Okay? Oh, it must have been a past life. Oh, well, it means this. Oh, no, it means it's right. You've seen it. I hate it. It drives me insane. I hate when people in my profession do that. So But by willing to say maybe I'm wrong and them correct me, you saw the process of me being corrected, then you saw me be able to get the right answer and then know, oh, that's why they corrected me. So it all kind of, the way the information comes is almost as important as being right or wrong. The way it flew, the way the information came through me was just as important because it got me in the place that you needed to be. Okay, I have one more thing for you. So he's given me my symbol for him making his presence known to you. So that would mean that you have seen him or you have felt him come around you. That's what that usually means. Okay. You haven't felt him?
I smell cigarette smoke.
Okay. So it's a made his presence known to you. Here's what I just saw. So he said that and then he kept setting behind you. Like almost like he's hiding behind you. So every time like you turn, he's behind you. I don't have a symbol for that. That's interesting. But know that like he's around you all the time.
Thank you for coming and doing a follow-up reading with us. We appreciate it. I do know from the reading that you had, your son came through. Can you tell us a little bit about how you felt when he was reading you?
I was shocked. I was shocked that he picked me. And I just, everything, I'm a very highly sensitive person. I mean, badly sensitive. I have been since I was little. And that just, I know I just started crying and I was trying not to, but I knew, I've seen other people and nobody really connected with him because I know he was with Eli. That felt real. None of the other ones have felt real.
What type of person was he? How did he touch people in the world?
Well, Eli was very, he was kind of quiet. He had a lot of depression, which I've always suffered from too. And he started using drugs and, but people that knew Eli was hyper intelligent, really intelligent guy, but he just hated school. It was boring. And the depression started hitting when he was, about 7th, 8th grade, same for me. Yeah. And that's when he started smoking pot and stuff. Yeah. So, he was the neatest kid because he was so loyal to his friends, and he was the one that was really smart, and he'd pick on him, and they'd, argue back. Yeah. He was kind of a smart ass, but he would do anything. He used to bring people home that I didn't know and say, Mom, and I'd be like, why is he coming over again? Because I knew they'd stay a while. He'd go, Mom, you don't know, his mother and his father both passed away. My son was so compassionate. He'd go to Berkeley, same thing. He'd want to bring people back with him, Everybody that really met my son loved him. Well, Jared hit right on the nose that there was mental illness and addiction. And then when he said that about his sister, when we started talking about him having a sibling, and that at first Jared was like, well, she doesn't have it. But then I guess Eli did whatever makes Jared understand, and she does have it. And Jared told me that my daughter's going to be okay. And that's huge because I haven't talked to her in 2 years.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome here.
Thanks.
All right, so I'm just going to jump right in because I'm already getting a male energy coming in. Now, this is not your son. This is an older male. So do you have a father figure that's passed?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but yeah.
Okay, that's okay. He's father figure is what he says. So again, if it's important that he came in. Okay, it's very important because so there's 2 males that are coming in. 3. I do have your son here. I'm not gonna. Okay. I'm not starting with him. So you understand, he's waiting to let everybody else who wants to come in come in. But I do have another older male who's here also. So do you have a grandfather who's passed?
I have an uncle.
Or uncle? Okay, uncle would work for me.
That was like a grandfather.
If he was like a father or a grandfather to you, because I thought you were going to say you had a grandpa who was like a father because he kind of stands in the father role. So again, when they stand in the wrong role, it means that they have multiple roles, right? Yeah. Like they were grandpa, but they were like dad, or they were uncle and they were like dad. Okay, so I got Uncle Daddy here. Yeah. And I want to call him like Uncle Roy or Uncle something or Uncle something like so he would have been, you'd have called him something
Uncle
like that.
Pat.
Perfect. Again, empath, so I'm feeling it. I don't really get the words very often right, but the sentiment behind it I get. And I knew it was short because it felt like, bah. So Uncle Pat is here. Pat.
My grandfather was named Roy.
Was he?
But yeah, I don't know him that well, but.
That's okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I said Grandpa
Roy
first.
And you said Roy.
And I said Roy.
It could be him.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what people get really confused. They're like, "Well, I didn't know him. Why would he come in?" Right?
Yeah.
Or, he was gone before I was born, or he was gone for a really long time, and they think that because you don't have a connection with them here, that they don't come around, and it's just not the case. The truth is that the more they've been around, probably because they still stick around and help you from the other side, especially when you didn't know them. So people are kind of confused about that. And
Yeah.
and I know that because my dad died when I was 2, and he's always been around helping me. Like,
I tried to force it into something else, and you said Grandpa Roy.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
that is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that happens a lot. And if I and I have to be real careful, and this is a problem with doing this kind of work, right? Because I want to be right. And if you go, "Oh no, that's my uncle," I want to go, yeah, I'm right.
Yeah.
But then it leads it in the wrong direction, and then the rest of the information's wrong. So it's important for me to be like, no, if it doesn't feel right, or not let you lead it to where you want it to be, but to get the information that you're supposed to get. Do you understand?
Yeah, I love
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So I do have, it's got to be, because I don't get names very often, and that was pretty clear. So I do feel like I got Grandpa Roy here, okay?
Yeah.
And what was Dad's name?
Alfred, I think. Al. I just found out about him about 12 years ago. So.
Okay. And did you find out a lot of stuff about that? Or did you find out a whole, like, did that open up a whole can of worms type thing?
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
when you
I
said
had
that,
no
I felt
idea.
like you had a whole family that you didn't know
I
about.
have a whole family up in Orville, and I've become close with them.
Perfect.
I don't have.
Give me, don't give me more. It's okay.
Okay. Oh,
Be careful. You
that's awesome.
I didn't get to the part where I tell you don't give me much.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But okay. But yeah. So I feel like when you said Dad and you said you found out about him, I felt this whole umbrella of people you found out about. So have you seen him since he's been passed? Did he make his presence known to you?
No.
Then it's his sister. Has she mentioned that she's seen him? Are you in talking terms with her? You're not, huh?
She beat me up, and then I haven't seen her for 2 years.
Okay. But he's letting me know, like, he's coming to her. He's like trying to straighten her out. He's trying to help her. He's trying to help her. Oh my God.
He loved her so
Yeah,
much.
he's like trying so much to help her and kind of the word is console her. He's trying to console her. It's like she's like, and he's trying to like hold her and calm her and like get her to relax and let her grieve.
Yeah, she didn't at all.
She's not. She still hasn't. And she's got a lot of other stuff going on too.
Yeah.
So there's like this whole. It's a tornado. Like I get a symbol of like tornado above her, which means just chaos.
Yeah.
Just super chaos. Okay. But he says this to you. Okay. He goes, let me handle this for now, Mom. Let me handle this for now with sister. So that means like he's telling you there's nothing you need to do right now because this is like it's like a stab in the chest to you. Do you understand? It's like I lost one and now I'm losing another. It's what it feels like. He says. He's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. So he's like, let me help. I'm gonna help with this. So like, let me do this. So that's what he says.
Oh, that's awesome.
So now I'm getting this symbol, which is drugs and alcohol and addiction. So again, for her also, and it's also mental illness with her. So there's some mental illness stuff going on. Again, same symbol. So drugs and alcohol. Addiction is a form of mental illness, just so you know.
Oh, I know. I have it too. Yeah.
Okay. So again, that's what that symbol. But they showed it to me addiction, but then they also showed me a little mental illness with daughter. So I know that for sure because they showed me like the trauma. There's some trauma with her that she's not let go of, and that's what's causing some of this. So that's the mental illness side of it. Was she in like a very bad physical relationship?
Oh yes.
Okay. So I got like this really bad trauma from physical abuse. He said to tell mom I'm not going to let the same thing happen. I'm not going to let the same thing happen. He's like grabbing you and he's shaking you and he's like saying that you're stuck. You're stuck. He's like trying to shake you out of it. Are you taking some kind of antidepressant or something like that?
Yeah, they don't work, but I've been taking them forever.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure he's like showing me you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and I've had my problems with drugs and alcohol, and
I know you said that already, but
Yeah.
he's showing me like taking.
I take like 4 different pills a day.
Okay. But it would have to be something that would make you kind of numb yourself or kind of make you not feel. Because this is where I'm going with this.
Methamphetamines.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not taking them now, but yeah.
Okay.
I hate to say it this way, but it kind of saved me because I just wanted to die every day.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and it would numb those feelings. I had to tell you that because that's what it did. It numbed them.
Yeah.
The antidepressants don't seem to really work anymore, but
Yeah. And it doesn't actually. No, I mean, trust me. I've got addiction in my past, so I know all about this stuff. I'm no slouch. I've got 14 years sober, so it's not.
I had 8 years and then kind of just gave up.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you. I don't know how anybody could go do what you did through and stay sober. I don't know. Like you said.
Sitting home alone,
Yeah.
just thinking it's bad for me.
Yeah. But anyway, he brings this up because he's worried about you, and
Yeah.
he says, he's worried about this and the not feeling. He's like shaking you, saying you're stuck, and it's time. Okay, it's time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know that there's the big elephant on your back right now is guilt.
Oh God, it kills me.
It's guilt, and you somehow think that this is your fault.
It is.
It's not your fault.
I could have been a better mom. I could have.
Yeah.
Everything.
So stop. Just stop. Let me get this out from him before you go into destroyed mode, okay?
Yeah.
Let me just tell you how this really works, okay? Okay. You're only responsible for you. For us to think we have control over what our kids become is really, it's not real. It's ego, okay?
Yeah.
They're God's kids. They're not our kids.
Yeah.
Are we an example to them? Yes. Were you not a good example? You were not a good example. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's okay. Either was I. Okay? But that does not determine what's supposed to happen for your kids. They have their own path. Yeah. They have their own plan. He's like, Mom, this was always my plan. This was always my plan. So, Mom, this was always my plan. Okay. I'm so sorry that you had to be part of this, but this was always my plan. Okay? So, he says that to you. Now, everybody who's ever sat in front of me who's lost a child has had these thoughts of suicide.
Constantly.
Yeah, like I might as well go. And you don't have much left to keep you here. Do you understand? But he is adamant to you. He's like, you can't come yet. You can't come yet. Sorry, it's not your time. You can't come yet. Because you do need to be there for sister, he says, when she comes around. And he's like, I'm working on her. But I need you. Okay? I need you when she comes around. That's how I knew how he passed, because I heard the word epidemic in my head, which made me know I'm like, oh, this is another.
I remember you saying that. Another one. I've had so many of this. Yeah.
And the truth is, because I'm in recovery, I can help people like you. God brings me a lot of people who are dealing with this. I've been on both sides for you, right? Like I've been him. Yeah. And it hurts me to see you sit here like this, because I know what I put my mom through. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah. And I know he didn't want to.
No. It's the last thing he wanted to do. Did he lose a friend also? Did he have like a friend who passed? Because he's got a friend next to him right now. He says, like, my friend's with me. He wants you to know his friend's
I wonder if it's... They weren't super close. My son dated the kid's sister, so they knew each other. But he had passed a couple years before my son.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's somebody else too. Oh, a close friend of mine that used to babysit Eli when he was real little. He wasn't that much older, but he also passed a few years before Eli. I'm good friends with his mom, that kid's mom.
This felt like one of his friends, so it would have been like a buddy of his or something, or a friend of his.
Yeah, it would have been maybe the other kid or somebody I don't know that passed.
Yeah. Yeah, because it didn't feel like either of those people you mentioned. Just, like I'll get like a yes, and I didn't get a yes for either of those. So, but he's like.
I wonder if it was the kid that he was friends with his sister. They knew each other and they were kind of buddies, not best friends or anything.
Yeah, it didn't feel like best friends, just a friend.
Yeah.
So tell me, he's not showing me what happened. Tell me what happened to him that was so devastating.
To Eli or to the friend?
To Eli.
Okay, he'd been using drugs, and I kind of, I'd met a guy I started dating. He was bad. I always know inside of me that it's bad, but I did it anyways. And So my friend who does some addiction counseling said, I think you're going to have to throw Eli out because of the heroin or whatever. So I did, which crushed me. And it was really the wrong thing to do to Eli because he's not that kid. He came home one day and was hungry, and I let him have some food, and he went upstairs. I went upstairs to talk to him, and I'd been trying to get the boyfriend out of my house to leave, get away from me. And the boyfriend heard me arguing with Eli, and he came up there and jumped, and they just went at it, fighting. So I called the police. Eli is trying to leave, and he's got his stuff, and he went and got in his car, but I have a long driveway, and there's 2 cars parked, mine and then somebody else's behind him, and he couldn't leave, and my boyfriend kept going out there and choking him, and Eli would start getting panicked, and he was going the car back and forth, and then Mark came out again to attack him, and Eli, the car went forward, and it hit Mark. Mark, because he was such an alcoholic, had bad circulation, ended up having to get his leg cut off. And Eli went to jail for a year. And it was not long after that he got out, and then things happened. But yeah, it was very traumatic for everybody. Yeah.
And that's where your guilt comes from.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of it, but that's where the main stuff. It's like, that guy should have never been around. He treated me bad, my kids bad. He just should have not been there. And now he's not alive anymore either.
Yeah, so I thought that you were going to tell me he killed him because I feel as soon as you started talking about him, I got him here. So
yeah.
Again, here's what I need to tell you.
Okay.
And you've got to see this, okay? Your son came forward and said, look, I got my friend with me. This guy's here, my friend. He's with me. He's my friend. Okay? I know you're not going to, you've got to hear this. I got chills all over.
Okay.
It's him.
It's Mark?
It's Mark. He needs you to see that they're friends now. He needs you to see that.
I have so much hatred when I think of him.
And you can, but he does not. He does not hate him.
Wow.
He is there with him. And I thought you were going to tell me he shot him or killed him because it's him. It's him.
Wow.
So he wants you to know that he doesn't hold anything against him anymore. Do you understand that? He does not hate him. He does not care. And he's literally telling you he's my friend. Okay? He said it several times. He's my friend. He's my friend. And I got chills all over, which is just an indication I know this is right. I am not even in question who this is. This is Mark. Okay?
Yep.
This is Mark. And he says, you can hate him all you want. I just want you to know that we're getting along and we are now friends. Okay?
That's a lot of my guilt, too, because I brought Mark around, you know?
I know you did.
Wow.
I know.
Mark died shortly, well, not too shortly, but after Eli, within like a year after him or something.
Well, yeah, it was important that I knew it wasn't who you were saying. It wasn't like, but again, so it was confusing because he kept saying his friend, but it was important that he said that first so that I knew he wanted you to know that they were.
Wow, that kind of makes my heart feel better.
That's why he did it. That's why he wanted you to see it. Again,
I think those plans are made beforehand anyways. So.
They really are.
That helps me because I always say, why is my life like this? I know I planned it out, and you plan that with everybody. So I know that's true, but it's hard to take sometimes.
It is impossible to understand.
That is amazing. I think I can really be okay with that. That was amazing. It was amazing. Best thing I've ever had. He was right on, my son. And the fact that my son is here and is helping me along and watching over my daughter, it's a big thing because I don't see my daughter and I'm so worried about her, but he's working on it. You know, I found out that my dad wasn't really my dad. And I had another dad. And since then, I've met this whole family up in Orville.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so that's who first popped in. And the most amazing thing that happened for me today was there's a person that was in my life, a boyfriend, and it had a huge effect with Eli. And him and Eli got into a fight. And there was an accident where Eli hit him in the car and he ended up having to get his leg removed. It was horrible. Yeah. And then that guy lied at court and made it horrible. My son went to jail. And it was only a few months after jail that my son passed. Well, then about a year after that, this guy passed. And I have all this rage towards this guy. My son brought a friend through. And I'm going through all the young people that I could think that might be. And Jared was really kind of like, until I mentioned this horrible thing that happened. And he goes, that's who he's with. So this person that I was hating, and I was thinking that I felt so much guilt over my son having to be involved with him. Mm-hmm. They're together and they're friends. And it just lifted something so big and heavy out of my heart to be able to be okay, because I know that was all planned beforehand. And it just really meant something that they're friends and everything's okay there.
Everything, it has forgiveness there. You know,
Yeah.
they forgive there.
Yeah.
They don't hold grudges. There are no grudges
Yeah.
there.
And I think we plan our own life out with people before we come here.
Yeah.
So
agree.
I already knew that would happen. And then it was
That's awesome.
that I couldn't believe the feeling I got after I realized what he's with Mark. What is, it's just amazing. Yeah.
Did he struggle at all?
Eli?
No. Jared?
No. Well, I would be answering incorrectly. First thing he asked me was father figure, maybe a grandfather or something. I go, it's my uncle. That's what I said. It's my great uncle. He goes, his name is like Roy and he was naming these names. I go, it's Pat. It's my Uncle Pat. And he goes, something about, I go, well, I do have a grandfather over there. And what's his name? Roy. So I was trying to turn it into something different, but it was like he wasn't struggling. I guess I was struggling.
Yeah, if he keeps going, if he doesn't think that it's the right person, like people will say, "Oh, that's my grandma," and he'll be like, "No."
Yeah, and the friends thing, it happened with the friends thing because I kept trying to fit a different friend in there or something, but no, it wasn't until he got Mark, which was just blew my mind. I was like, "What's he doing with my son?" But no, they're friends. This was, I told you, it's not just like sitting here hearing about my loved one or whatever in the afterlife. It was better than any counseling session I've ever had with somebody. It brought me so much joy and lifted this guilt off of me, in such ways that it's just amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Medium Sized Ego. My hope in sharing with you my process and how I get messages from Spirit and how I share them with other people is so that you can all see that this is obtainable. This is not some magic special gift that only the select few have. That's just not the case. Anybody can do what I do, as long as you keep your ego right-sized and practice. So my hope with sharing this with you is that you heard, saw, or felt something today that opens your mind, opens your heart just a little bit to allow Spirit to work its way in and maybe just for a moment make you believe. But don't trust me. I would never ask you to believe me. Believe your guides. Believe your loved ones. Believe Spirit, because they are working with you every day. They are giving you messages every day. All those times when you get warned that something bad's about to happen, all those times you think of somebody just before they call, all those times that you get that thought, that's not you, that's not dumb luck, that is Spirit.